Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share by the end of 2025, according to this analyst who correctly predicted that Tesla stock is going to rally to $450 within 90 days after the election. And in his bull case, actually, Tesla stock will hit $1,500 by the end of 2025. His name is Brian Wong, and let's find out why he thinks that. I will also go through all of the most important Tesla stock news that just happened.
I'm expecting a good Q4, so that we'll have the volume numbers. I think we can hit the 515,000, close to it, and ideally above it, and that will help be a good story for it. I'm expecting the fluctuation of energy installations to hopefully have a good number there as well. Again, those are not the super critical points, but I think there's indication that the chance of something really bad being announced in terms of volume production or energy is low. And also there will be the China-Shanghai Megapack factory, which I had determined was twice as large as the Lathrop factory. That will also start production, I think, this month. And then the first line will have some significant production in Q1. And so then we get to January 22nd, which would be the earnings call, with all the good things that are happening, that we know are happening. Us close Tesla watchers know what's happening. I don't see how that call can be anything but positive. I expect Elon to be super happy and him to say really good things about what's going to happen in 2025, because we have, middle of the year, likely reaching the better than human driving, all the unsupervised. I think those would be reconfirmed. And so that would help the stock, get up to, I think, 500 or 600 by the end of time. The licensing of FSD would be a huge game changer, where just like when we moved from in the United States, where all the companies, Ford and the others, started to do supercharging deals, that is basically all the other companies giving up. That alone could take us to 1,000, but combined with FSD being better than human by the middle of the year, and going public with California and Texas having unsupervised robotaxi. So the big things I think are just FSD licensing with another company, BYD, Geely, Ford, and then unsupervised at a significant scale in China, Texas. Those things alone take us to 1,000.
So that was nice to hear. And Dan Ives just said that Tesla reaching a $2 trillion market cap is actually conservative. It should put Tesla about $600 per share. And here's a shocking admission from a former Uber CEO, which to me actually is not shocking, but it's actually still shocking to hear it coming from him, because he worked on solving full self-driving basically. And look at what he says.
We were starting to roll out, of course, we're doing the autonomy thing. I'll put that aside. I think Elon's going to take care of that at this point.
He just admitted that Elon is going to solve full self-driving, and the current Uber CEO, I'm not so sure that he is all that excited about it. Before, he really criticized Elon, and he wasn't having it that Tesla is going to beat Uber, although later he started changing his mind. And now, with the former Uber CEO, we are seeing complete capitulation here. I agree with Razad. In the long term, Uber is so dead. Of course, we would be doing autonomy, said the former Uber CEO, but I think Elon will take care of that at this point. The reason for why we are getting a slightly bigger buying opportunity today for Tesla stock is, I believe, is because of the whole market being down. For Tesla stock, I only see good news. For example, the Juniper Model Y production rate is already reaching 4,000 per week. Now, keep in mind, this is a rumor, so this is likely not priced into Tesla stock yet. But if this is true, this is pretty good news, because at roughly 600 vehicles produced per day, this puts Tesla at 1/3 of production capacity of the new version. And it is definitely harder to scale from 0 to 1/3 than it is to scale from 1/3 to scaling all the way to your target. And look at how fast they are moving. So 600 vehicles per day produced. This is from December 28th. And just 4 days before that, we were at 200. So if we maintain this pace, we are going to be hitting the production target very, very soon. And with multiple spottings of the Model Y Juniper around the world, this is definitely, at this point, the launch is imminent. It's coming. It's almost here. I can almost feel it. And not just feel it, but also almost touch it. And now Tesla is doing another promotion for Cybertruck. This is specifically for the Foundation series. If you buy it from Tesla's inventory, you will get lifetime supercharging for free, but you must have placed your order on or after December 27th. But if you ever sell your Cybertruck, that free supercharging will not transfer. However, Foundation Series Cybertrucks are not cheap. It's basically $95,000 for this vehicle. But if you want to buy a Cybertruck right now and you want to buy it with FSD, it sort of makes sense just to buy the Foundation Series. And just look at all of the promotions that Tesla is running right now for all of its vehicles. If you want to buy a Tesla, right now is a good time to buy a Tesla. The promotions don't end here. There's actually more. And if you do want to save extra, get a Tesla demo vehicle. Now, these vehicles, when they are test driven, people push them. But if you don't mind an extra discount, I think it's not a bad idea. And this quarter, Tesla actually delivered its 7th millionth vehicle, which is a huge milestone. Having a huge fleet is such a big advantage for Tesla when it comes to solving full self-driving, because Tesla is driving an estimated 70 billion miles per year collectively. And all of that translates into edge cases and more good data for Tesla to use to improve full self-driving and make it safer than human driving. And these promotions from Tesla, they definitely generate some extra sales. For example, this right here is proof that someone ordered a Cybertruck just because he got free supercharging for the rest of his life for as long as he owns that Cybertruck. I just went to a Tesla service center because I wanted to test drive a FSD V13 Tesla vehicle here in Canada, but turns out that none of the Tesla vehicles that are sold here in Metro Vancouver that are new have FSD V13.2 or any V13 version, is what I was told by a Tesla representative. I know some people have FSD V13 already in Canada, but not at Tesla service centers. But what I did see was a lot of people checking out Teslas and getting their Teslas delivered. The center was pretty busy. And now let's talk about actual expectations from Wall Street about Tesla's deliveries for this quarter. Wall Street is expecting Tesla to deliver 506,700 cars. This consensus is based on the company compiled survey. So this is an official email from Tesla. It's never published publicly by Tesla, but we all get it eventually. It's just shared privately with some analysts, but we can all see what's happening here. We can see all the analysts that are included in this survey, and you can see here the expectations. Now, the median is actually sitting at 510,000 deliveries, not 506,000. Sometimes the median is more important. But in this case, I'm sticking with 506,700 as the expected target. And you can also see expectations for further years to come. So next year, almost no growth is expected despite the launch of a smaller Tesla vehicle. On the other hand, James believes that the Whisper number must be higher given that guidance from last earnings call was year-over-year growth, which means 515,000 deliveries minimum. So what's going to happen? Some of the accounts with better track history, the ones that I've seen, seems like their predictions are around 506,000 deliveries. So right there with the consensus, nothing seems to be really off this time. However, I just saw this. Sources say that Tesla China is about to hit 24,000 deliveries for the previous week, and we will verify the number on Tuesday, which would be amazing news because expectations are definitely below 24,000. And this account has some credibility because before, when it published a rumor like this, it was actually right. And if next week is indeed 24,000, then this would be the best week in China for Tesla ever, beating even the previous best week which we had in Q3. So the question now is, how many deliveries will Tesla have for Q4, and whether Tesla actually hits the 515,000 number, exceeds it, or delivers below it. I agree with Sawyer. I don't think it actually matters in the long term, but Wall Street, of course, will care about that a lot. So if the number is below the expected deliveries, I think the stock will go down, and if it's above, I think the stock will, of course, rally. Just like it usually does. If the surprise is big enough. Another thing to really keep in mind is 3 weeks after the delivery numbers come out, Trump will be inaugurated and all of Elon's companies are going to benefit massively from a Trump presidency. Now, Sawyer thinks that the EV credit will likely disappear and the EV movement in general will probably suffer, but not Tesla in the long term. In the short term, sure, I think that's not great, but in the long term, it actually crushes Tesla's competition, putting Tesla in a better position to accelerate the growth. And of course, regulations will be more favorable to Tesla. There should be a lot less investigations into Elon Musk, if any. Maybe all of them will just stop. We'll see. But definitely there will be less investigations. And Sawyer predicts as we head into 2025 and 26, we are going to see a growing number of people focus more on Tesla as a technology, robotics, AI, and energy company, not a car company. Finally, the shift is starting to happen. The setup for Tesla is definitely great. The company just needs to execute, believes Sawyer, and I agree. And when it comes to executing, there's no one better than Elon Musk, who can take something that seems to be impossible and then he just makes it possible. And you know he's going to do that again. And this time it's going to be full self-driving. The Tesla Cybertruck's head engineer has confirmed that multiple recent Cybertrucks spotted in Europe have been registered vehicles. For example, this Cybertruck was spotted in Netherlands. Now, when implicitly asked by another user how European buyers could somehow get Cybertrucks registered, he responded by saying, "Make friends." So likely this is not an official plan from Tesla to enter the European market with a Cybertruck, but if you are in Europe, seems like there's a possibility to buy a Cybertruck in Europe at least. But this vehicle was actually owned by a rapper who I've never heard of. It would be pretty cool to see a lot more Cybertrucks in Europe later though. This is some definitely good news for Tesla, and this kind of news is going to become very common when Tesla has a cheaper, more compact vehicle. King County, Washington Metro is buying 120 Tesla Model Ys for its fleet for $6.5 million, which will be used for car share services. If the numbers already make sense for them with the Model Y, which is not exactly the cheapest vehicle you can get on the market, these will definitely be a lot more common when Tesla produces a vehicle that's going to sell for under $30,000. Well, this is interesting. A member of the Scottish Parliament has written to Elon Musk urging him to build a new Tesla Gigafactory in Scotland. I don't think we will see a new Tesla factory for a while because Tesla has about 3 million in capacity that it could produce per year with its current facilities, and Giga Mexico has not even been constructed yet. I remember Gary Black a few years ago speculated that the next location could be in the UK for Tesla, but I don't see that as likely anytime in the near future. The Dirty Tesla Can just published a new FSD clip, and you will want to pay attention to this one. So the vehicle is on FSD, and he's of course paying attention, but he's looking further ahead, and he would have hit this animal if he didn't have FSD on. He said, "I was looking farther down the road, wondering where our upcoming turn was. FSD was on and started applying the brakes, and my exact thought process is about why are you braking?" is what he was thinking. And then he realized last moment when it would have been too late if FSD was not on. Now, he didn't say that he would have definitely hit the animal if he was not on FSD, but he said probably he would have hit it. And before he got a Tesla, he hit 2 deers. I believe the number since he got a Tesla is 0, although I'm not 100% sure about that. And here's another example of why you want to drive with FSD on.
The trucker tried swerving away from the car, but he overcorrected and lost control. Right then, Giulio's Tesla began sounding the alarm while FSD did its best to avoid the out-of-control semi, which was now veering into Giulio's lane. FSD steered as far to the left as possible, barely missing the median barrier. Giulio hit the juice pedal and used his dual motors to accelerate away from the semi, which had managed to drag the white car across the highway and into the barrier. Giulio and his passengers were fine, and his Tesla was completely untouched.
Now, there's some weirdness with FSD that's happening currently. So, of course, it's definitely not perfect, and I believe all of this will be fixed, but this is quite interesting.
So here's one of my weird Cybertruck FSD things. Look, it's like drifting off to the left that I've had. I just turned out the turn signal, but it had the turn signal, the right turn signal on forever, like it was going to change out of the passing lane, and then it just sits here. Like, it won't actually change lanes. That's happened a couple times today over all this driving we've been doing. We're at almost 500 miles today. And then the other thing is, every once in a while, and I think this happens in the Y too, if I remember correctly, it'll like get stuck at a lower speed. So like, we'll be in a 55 speed zone, it goes up to a 70 speed zone, and the max goes up. Like right now our max is 80, and the max goes up, but then the car just sits at like 57. It doesn't actually, like the Cybertruck doesn't actually increase its speed, even though it notices the new speed zone and all that. So now you can see it's finally actually completing its lane change, but the turn signal was on there for a good maybe like 30 to 40 seconds without it actually changing lanes.
Chuck Cook also responded to that video and said, saw both of these items on FSD V13.2.2 on my Cybertruck also. This was on a shorter 5-hour trip each way to Panama City. It drives very good, but at times it feels like even FSD gets sleepy. That's how it feels when it is doing one of these things, like a sleepy, lethargic driver. And I believe that is because of Tesla's data. So if you are training your vehicle on human data, of course, you will have some lethargic drivers inevitably. So the solution to that is either to remove that data and then retrain FSD, so that way it never gets lethargic and tired, even though it's not actually tired, it's just emulating how people drive. And Chuck Cook published an FSD clip where the Tesla vehicle experienced some challenging instances.
The car is already seeing AJ in the road, and it's proceeding pretty aggressively, and right about now it's starting to go, uh-oh. Wow, no, it's asserting. Look at it.
Whoa,
It's
I
just,
can see it. It's like,
yeah, and now we're in another face-off. Why don't you start asserting yourself? Why don't you say, no, I'm the boss here. As soon as you started moving, you went from light gray to dark.
okay, so that's good.
Yeah, keep asserting like you're the boss. Let's see what happens. It's not doing anything. Like right now, you're a pickup truck pointing the other direction. All right? Now you're the one that gave up, and now look at me taking assertiveness. Okay, so it's sort of saying, yeah, you're going to lose this battle. And let's see, now you're backing up. I'm not moving this time.
Cut off there for a second.
Yeah, I'm just saying it. So now, just for grins, why don't you back up and turn into that driveway just to give a little bit of room? You know what I mean? There's room for me to get by, but my right tires would have to go on the grass, and I'm not budging. Okay, now boom, now it's rolling. So so interesting. So it made you back up there.
I also just found this clip. Look at this delivery robot right there, which is going to be, well, there's a Waymo here. Look at what happens. Bam. Robots getting into an accident with other robots is going to be common in the future. Well, less common than human accidents by human drivers, but they will happen, and we are starting to see them now. And that's it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Friday because of the new year. See you guys later. Bye.